Hey guys, what's up everyone? Welcome to Young Time World. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today we're going to be talking about one particular movie, which is Mad Max Furiosa. You know, the one that has Chris Hemsworth in it. Now, obviously, when it comes to shows, each and every person loves their villains and their bad guys and good guys. Now, personally, I do not know if I've talked about Mad Max Furiosa before, but let's talk about it. Now, in order for you to understand Furiosa, you're going to have to watch the Mad Max in its entirety, from the very first one that came out that had Tom Hardy, and to the current one, which is Furiosa, that involves, a Greenland where people cite a lot of fresh fruits and trees, which doesn't seem to be a thicker part of what Mad Max is about. Personally, the only reason why I decided to even jump into this in the first place was because I saw that Chris Hemsworth was going to be a part of it. What I didn't know was what part he was going to play. And then I realized that he was going to be a guy with a prosthetic nose who is sort of a good guy, mostly a bad guy. And honestly, at the end of the show, you would want him to be dead more than alive. And you can understand that given the fact that he puts the main character, who is Furiosa, through one heck of a problem. He kills her mother, he enslaves her, and then the person who was the previous movie's bad guy turns out to be the good one because he gave her an opportunity to work for her and in the long run create a safe haven from Chris Hemsworth's villainous character. So it does seem like it goes full circle. Furiosa comes before the Mad Max Fury Road. So it's like before Charlize Theron decides to jump in and become the main star, we're introduced to a different character who, the girl who plays her is hot. If we're being real here, she's hot. Like, she's hot. I hope I'm not hitting on someone who's underage, but she's hot. She's very, very, very hot, which is surprising because we're talking about a show where no one is getting makeup. Everyone looks freaky. It's the apocalypse times. There's sand everywhere. So being pretty is not going to be like your first guess. But she looks fine in everything. Now, enough with the glazing. Let's talk about the storyline. The story is talking about her girl who is kidnapped by a bunch of people who, are part of the Mad Max world. And they chance upon this place that has greenery, has pasture, has actual plants growing. And the people who live there don't want those who infiltrated to know, or they don't want them to spread the word that they exist. So they decide to try and neutralize them. And even though they've kidnapped one of the kids, they send one of their green people to go after them and stop them. One person who goes is the mother of the girl who's been kidnapped, right? Yes. So she kills them, but it's left with one more, but the one more does not. He gets there, tells them there's a Greenland, but he's not able to show them because he dies before he's able to spread any more of that information. And so now that Chris Hemsworth, bad guy person, is already introduced to us, we see him murder a couple of people, let them fight for the position in his empire. He's sort of a reckless yet interesting character. He goes from being absolutely insane to be well prepared for an outcome until he meets the other bad guy from the previous show, and then he shows a little bit of skirmish, which kind of puts the old bad guy in the spot where he has to give up a piece of his empire so that crazy Chris Hemsworth villain guy cannot do more damage to his empire. But in the long run, it still ends up getting messy. And now we have an end game where killing that villainous bitch is the only way that you can have a serenity in the Mad Max world. Now, I'm not really one for power and how to claim it because obviously I am already in my own head. And I consider myself the god of entertainment. Thank you. Your bows and appreciations are well met. But I will say this: the story that shapes Furiosa into a character that is not only willing to wrench her arm off a block, like, you know how gutsy you have to be to cut off your own arm? I mean, other movies make it easy, but her arm was wrangled and it was hooked. It was like tied up, and that was the only way that they caught her. And she like just ripped it off, the flesh just straight off. And I'm telling you, that shit looked like it hurt like a bitch. And she did it. And so the character gets hardened into perfect steel that cuts through everything. And it becomes a hardcore character that ends up getting the revenge and the power that she always wanted. So, personally, with that kind of development, I want to see more of her character. I want to see something else because Furiosa was a prequel, Fury Road was the sequel. I want something to come after it, whether she's going to have a baby, whether she has another adventure. All I know is that it was really great. Personally, I would give it an 8 out of 10 because the drama that came with it was intense. I could feel certain things. I could feel Chris Hemsworth's nipples getting ripped apart. I could feel her wrenching her arm off her body. I could feel it. And that is what cinema is about. And I love it. I love the fact that the emotions were engaged. Now, the part about Chris Hemsworth being a villain is what I'm yet to incorporate into my being because I'm not used to him being a villain. Yes, the Ghostbusters movie had him play a little part as villainous, but not on an extensive scale. In this one, it's extensive to a T, right? And we see parts of him that we don't usually see because he's usually the guy who saves the day, you know, whether we're talking about him being a soldier or him being the god of lightning and thunder, we always see him to be the one who saves the day. And now he's the guy who's bringing destruction and desecration to the world, and the only way to stop him is to kill him. So seeing him being this comical yet villainous character is new to me. And although I'm not able to absorb it, especially with that prosthetic nose in my face, it's still honorable. I think it's still cool that he's trying to extend his borders into other characters that we do not usually see him in. And I think that's progress. That is probably the hopes of every kind of actor, to be able to play all sides while still maintaining the audience that followed him through all this time. And I really love that. And I really love that about Furiosa because I also get to see pieces of every single person that you don't usually see, you know, because Furiosa is like a dystopia. Everything is just fucked up to an extent where you're not going to get away with it with normal acting. Your usual responses to other things is not going to be the same as it was. And so it inspires a uniqueness that comes from nothing, really. It's like you're generating all of these within your head. I don't think anyone has lived a life of a dystopia before. I don't think anyone has lived in an empire covered with dust and being governed by people who put on masks and they're just ruled by they're ruled by savagery. But it is a kingdom no less, and a kingdom that requires people to follow it and respect its laws. But anyways, as I said before, Furiosa is a very interesting and thought-provoking movie. And if you haven't watched it, you should really go try it out. I really did love it. And I hope you do too, if you have. But if you already have watched it, tell me what you think. I'd love to know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. Until next time, Young Titan out. Thank you for listening. Bye.